This is Bill Brady, Ecclesia Framework, speaking today about judging in your own court as opposed to going to the court of accusation, judging on your king mountain, and judging angels. First off, judging in your own court as opposed to going to the court of accusation. Now, this is my experience up to this point. Now, others may have other ways of doing this and more effective ways of doing this. It was what I've been doing up to this point as of recently. Been taught that I can judge in my own court as opposed to going to the court of accusation. In other words, I am the judge. Been given that authority to judge in my own court, and so have many of you. So when you go to the court of accusation, you call for the accusation and go through the process, and then the judgment is made stating that you are not guilty. In this case, instead of going to the court of accusation, you're in your own court and you make the judgment unto not guilty. The rest of the procedure is the same. You take that not guilty verdict, which is a divorce from papers, and you go to the Chancellor's Court and get a positive blueprint. And you take the positive blueprint and you take the divorce papers to the Court of Scribes to be written down, and to the Court of Angels to have angels assigned. Getting the positive blueprint is something that really is exciting, because before this point, you've been struggling with something, and now you're going to get a positive blueprint that means things are going to be going very well, functioning perfectly. You get that positive blueprint. I generally picture receiving the scroll with the divorce papers on it. And I generally see the scroll with the positive blueprint on it. I may store them away in my belly, or I may take them to trade them on the sea of glass. But procedure is much the same as court of accusation, with the exception that I really enjoy taking the gavel and pounding it down and speaking the verdict of not guilty. There's a real good feeling when you pound that gavel down. Now, that's the procedure that I use for court of in the place of court of accusation. But then, as a king on my own mountains, I can also judge with respect to my mountains. I have authority in the ecclesia, and I generally know what the accusation is, and would be dealing with the court of accusation with reference to the accusation with respect to a group of people. But in this case, my king mountain has to do with ecclesia. Actually, my mountains have all pretty much joined into one at this time rather, but for point of illustration, I'm acting in an area of authority having to do with the ecclesia. My authority at this point is universal when I'm given a mandate. And so if I see an accusation against the ecclesia, I then would convene the court. I'm the judge rather, and have the accusers come forward. I'm going to pronounce the not guilty verdict after having repented and confessing on behalf of the ecclesia, pound down the gavel, and again go through the process of court of scribes, court of angels, Chancellor's Court getting a positive blueprint. A great delight again in that positive blueprint. Another situation recently where I happened to go to the court of accusation for a group of people. I was given that positive blueprint, and then an angel took that positive blueprint from me. I'm presuming it then was given to somebody else to act upon, because in this particular case, I had the mandate and authority to do the judging on behalf of the ecclesia, judging to not guilty, but did not, or in this case, judging on behalf of that entity, that group of people, but did not have the authority or the mandate to then take that positive blueprint and do the next steps with it. Somebody else is going to be doing that. So you can do this on King Mountains. If you're having to do with the ecclesia, there's an example. If you discern an accusation against the ecclesia and you've got authority in the ecclesia, then you would take that accusation and go through the process. If it has to do with another King Mountain, same thing. Trying to think of an example that I can give here. Actually, any accusation against the ecclesia when they're not, as a whole, doing what they're supposed to be doing as the ecclesia. In some place they're holding back, believing a lie in any way, then you can use that with reference to the ecclesia. The third category, judging angels, Scripture makes it clear. Paul says, do you not know that we're going to judge angels? Now, I'm not talking about judging fallen angels in this particular case. I expect that we're going to be doing that as well, and may even be doing that right now, but my experience has been judging my own angels and those that have to do with the ecclesia. So judging an angel is simply a matter of pronouncing a verdict that they are strong and that they are wise and that they're performing their process that you have and doing it well, speaking positive things about them. And others have seen angels come forward willingly and joyfully to be judged because it actually improves their performance and makes them able to do their jobs better. Are not angels ministering spirits, Hebrews tells us. So they are spirits that minister on behalf of the ecclesia. And angels come forward willingly to be judged when they know you're going to judge them to a positive characteristic. Example having to do with healing. We have a complete health group, and today I was judging angels as able to heal and to heal effectively, able to reveal to people what the blockages to healing may be, various things along those lines, judging the angels. And afterwards, I could hear them when they went through me as a gate. I could hear them going forth joyfully to do their work. It kind of reminded me of the seven dwarfs in Snow White whistling while they work, going off to their work. I could just hear the joy in the angels as they went off to do their tasks that they've been assigned to. You could do the same thing having to do with angels with your own angels, judge them to be effective in whatever positive traits you wish to judge them to. And they do come forward for that willingly when they know that that is what you're going to be doing. And you do make a difference when you do that. You do change their effectiveness by speaking them as being effective in whatever way you choose for them to be effective. For the healing angels, I spoke them as being effective for various diseases. And as I said, I spoke to them to be effective in revealing to us any hindrances to healing that might be in the way of healing. Anyway, we are believing a lie rather than believing a truth. Something that I'm beginning to walk into, and others have been reporting on the chat groups that they've done this, and actually the Judging angels is something I've picked up from the chat groups. Others have explained that there in good detail. You can see the potential there having to do with any kind of an angel for any kind of a function, that you could speak positively about them and help them do their job better. That's something that they appreciate and something that you appreciate the positive effects of. And you can also see that we do have authority to judge. At a certain point, we replace the court of accusation. We become the judge ourselves on a personal basis and as well as a corporate basis. I've explained some examples of that, but it should be prompting thoughts in your mind now of places that you can judge with respect to any one of your king mountains that you've been given authority in. Judging in your own courtroom rather, as opposed to the court of accusation, going to the court of accusation. Judging in your own courtroom as a king, and judging angels. Some thoughts to point you in a direction, and God will prompt you on this.